I chose to tackle this specific goal of being able to speak. Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? Yo soy Katy de Spanish 55. Bienvenidos de regreso. Simple.
Yes, right. Wait, what if they answer me? Well, I guess I'll just smile and nod. Smiling and nodding always works. Okay, I can do it. It's just one sentence. ¿Dónde está el baño?
Let me tell you that if anything similar has ever happened to you that looks somewhat to the previous scene, you're not alone in this world. This has also happened to me in Spanish, even though it's my first language. Follow this 10-month-long plan that I've designed and I want to share with you. Let's start with month number 1. And I wanted to give this first step if you're a complete beginner in Spanish. You would like to begin with something as easy as hola, gracias, de nada, the basic words. We talked a little bit about traditional learning in a previous video. However, it's not that I'm against traditional learning, it's just that you have to get the resources the way they actually work for you. In this case, let's say that you're not a complete beginner, but you're an intermediate level. So, of course, you won't say hola, gracias, and use them in flashcards. You would rather go and, words that you can actually use that might be hard for your level, but that they will eventually help you. So, another example that I would give to you, try that in every single day you learn at least 5 words. You can keep a journal and just take note of those 5 words that you're going to learn daily. Vámonos al segundo mes. In this month, I've decided that I will focus on grammar. And we have stated previously that grammar is not everything in a language. However, for many languages, and Spanish included, it is the backbone in order to not speak like a caveman. If you're a complete beginner, start with the simple ones, present, past, and future simple. If your level is a bit higher, vámonos a las que siguen. Let's start with more complex ones. There's always a lot of conjugations, and even Spanish speakers, they do have a hard time like learning them all. So, yeah, every day, hustle, hustle, hustle. And yes, in this month, flashcards are still your best friend. Now, let's move on to month number 3. I wanted to focus in producing, because honestly, a lot of us don't really care about complex grammar structures and, learning the basic phrases. However, it is a compound of everything. Here, you might want to download free apps, but also, what is free? Booking your free consultation with Spanish55.com, where you can get in touch with your own private tutor who happens to be a native speaker and who will tailor your own lessons to achieve your own goals at your own pace. In month number 4, things are starting to get real. Doesn't mean they have to be boring. I want you to actually focus and immerse in yourself in the sound of real world Spanish. Not only like, hola, ¿cómo estás? So here I want you to listen to actual Spanish by getting in touch with all the media in Spanish. Series, YouTube videos, movies. You can also just listen to your favorite reggaeton, salsa, or bachata hits. Just listen to some real Spanish. And we're halfway there, guys. So in this month, number 5, I want you to dive into the past tenses. Enjoy those preterite and imperfect tenses, which are pretty hard in Spanish. But you want to learn how to talk about what you did yesterday or just share your memories. Because yes, you practice that in the second one, but here you're going to unlock those storytelling abilities in Spanish that can also make you really good connections and just interact with people on a different level. And arriving to month number 6, here I want you to dive into more immersive vocabulary. So, yes, let's go back to the basics, but step it up just a bit. Think about making lists like travel phrases, food terms, or, even slang. You know, label the things around your house with little sticky notes. And immersion starts just from there. You don't have to be in another country. You don't have to be next to someone who speaks Spanish. You can be your teacher. Don't get me wrong here. Like, I am not invalidating teachers. I wouldn't invalidate myself. Teachers are really essential because at some point you eventually need someone to explain to you why does this work a certain way. But what I'm saying here is that you can be a little bit more proactive and start building up that basic knowledge in order to help your own teacher. So it's a win-win situation. Now, month number 7, things start to get a little bit more serious. You want to practice your pronunciation. And the tip here is to record yourself saying those little words and then compare it to natives. Maybe if you're in Spanish 55, ask your teacher, how do you say this word? And work on that pronunciation in order to be a master. Month 8. Do you like role playing? I think we all like role playing. Like, honestly, I found myself speaking to myself as if I were being interviewed for the BBC countless of times. However, if you pretend to order food or just try to check into a hotel by yourself, as silly as it sounds, these simulations start building up confidence for when you're actually encountering them in real life. And I think we should also tackle grammar. More specific, writing. You might actually want to focus this month on daily writing. You can start with little and short statements. Start just like one sentence or two sentences, maybe five, a paragraph, however you feel confident with. But don't try to write a book or a novel. You might get frustrated. Okay, once you have these words written down, get them corrected by a language exchange, by your tutor, or by a teacher. Now, another tip here is that you don't actually need a notebook. You can start your own social media, or you can start your own blog and maybe make others join you in your journey to being able to speak Spanish in a proficient way. So, if you have reached this far, I'm guessing that you're stepping into the 10 month. And to be honest, this point, I don't think that you can do it anywhere alongside your language journey. Scheduling these conversations every week, every 2 days, or daily if you can, because practice makes perfect. And of course, continue with your Spanish 55 lessons. I am obviously talking about language exchange meetings. And I can personally recommend you an app that's called Meetup. Here you can find events, groups where you can find people that have similar interests to you. Yeah, you can share a lot of connection with them and just feel more at ease with the language. So there you have it. The key for all this is to stay consistent. Learning Spanish or learning any other language is a journey, not a sprint. Then, if you're ready to supercharge your progress in Spanish, I suggest you go ahead and schedule a free consultation in Spanish55.com where you can get in touch with your own private tutor that will tailor your own lessons to achieve your own goals. And also remember to tune in to our new podcast, Conquering Spanish, where real life students share their goals, their motivations, their struggles, and they just share a lot of inspiration for you guys. So, without further ado, remember to hit that like button, leave your comments, subscribe, and keep on moving forward. Adelante y buena suerte a todos. Hasta la próxima.